No, I'm not the most important. K-On's the most important.
I said he's the most important guy in the industry, in the entire industry. Vlad, the wrestling expert. Yeah, the only thing that matters nowadays is everybody's waiting for us to record on Fridays and then hopefully get Vlad's opinion about everything when the show drops on Saturdays.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares about my opinion.
Everybody cares. You're the only guy people care about on this show. But listen, this is episode 32 of the Malapert's Mark podcast. Thank you for being on the show with us, Vlad, the wrestling expert. I'll introduce you first. Thank you for coming on again. How you doing?
No problem. I am well. It's Friday, so I'm doing well.
Cool. And also we have Robert here, Roberto, his handle over there on the social medias. Thank you for being on again. You missed last week. I know you had some stuff going on, but happy to see you. We're happy to talk some wrestling. We're going to talk about this week's wrestling, this past week. You guys ready or what?
Yes, let's do this.
Ready as always.
Well, it is Friday. There was a Smackdown today. I don't know if you guys saw it or not or what.
No.
You guys, no?
I did not.
No.
No?
Not yet. I will, though.
That's always a tough part about recording for us on Fridays because it's hard to find a day when there's no wrestling. I used to like Thursday nights because that was kind of like a break in the wrestling week. You know, you have like just TNA or Impact, you know, and so we weren't really watching that. So that was kind of a good day to like record a show while there isn't a show going on today. But yeah, I mean, I watched some of SmackDown, but if you guys didn't talk about it, we'll hold off on that. If you guys didn't watch it, we'll hold off on that until next week. All right, so let's get the show started. We want to talk about some of the headlines in wrestling. Speaking of headlines, we don't have many headlines, but I guess we can mention that Impact is going back to TNA. I did just mention Impact Thursday nights and all that. So I don't know if that's big news. It's kind of big news to me. I mean, I'm a TNA fan from the original days. I really like those shows. I saw pretty much all of them. Not when they happened, but I went back and watched them all. Very impressed with TNA. I think overall, if you look at the history of TNA, it's just like blows AEW out of the water, especially from 02 until like 12, probably, something like that. Even when it started to go downhill in 10, 11, 12, it was still kind of better than what we get in AEW today. But so I'll just give a shout out. I'm kind of happy. It's going to be nice to see that when it actually happens, I think, in January. So they'll get their logo back and everything, and all the fans are going to chant TNA, TNA, TNA. So, okay. So if you guys got nothing to say about that, I guess you guys aren't big TNA fans. I know Vlad watched some TNA with me from like...
Yeah, no, I did. I watched, but the problem is I watched the TNA that a lot of people don't consider like the best TNAs when Hogan came back. Well, not when Hogan came back. When Hogan came to TNA, Hogan and Bischoff came to TNA in 2010. So I watched it for a few years, those weekly shows that were on, I believe, on Spike TV. Yeah, so I was a fan for a while. They had a good combination of like veterans and younger guys. So for a while, they had a really great roster until it all blew up in their face and everybody left. But for a while, there was a stretch, like 2-3 years, that TNA was a really, really good company. Despite, whatever the critics say that was a weak point in TNA history, I thought it was a cool time still. Some good shows.
Yeah, me too.
Aces and Eights, I think, is a very underrated angle in the history of wrestling. I think we can talk about this. Aces
definitely.
And Eights.
Joker Sting and all that.
Yeah, well, you're more a fan of the Joker Sting.
Coming back together.
Sting.
Finally, they had a conclusion of their story in TNA that happened in TNA.
There was some interesting stuff, of course, and they had a very, like I said, a really good mix of young guys and veterans at that time.
Yeah, well, I'm a big fan of the early days too. When they first started out as only pay-per-views, they didn't have a weekly show, so they went on pay-per-view every single week. So they literally had to like convince people to buy the next show before the show was over, which I thought was kind of cool because. Yeah. They kind of had to hotshot a bit because they're like, hey, these people have to pay like I don't know what it was, $10 or $20 to get to the next show, and
Yeah, I think it was like $10, right?
And they did like 100 and something shows like that, and then they got that deal on Fox Sports West or Fox Sports Net.
No.
And their shows weren't really that strong on Fox Sports Net. There might have been like half an hour or an hour even, if I recall correctly. But they had crazy pay-per-views, man. AJ Styles, Abyss, crazy matches. Abyss had the craziest hardcore matches, put everybody to shame today. But all right, well, we can hold off that conversation for another day. Hopefully TNA will make a revival and become the.
I think it's just impressive. It's impressive that they're still like as a company that they still exist. They were so close to like bankruptcy. You would think so many different times, or at the very least going out of business. But they're like a zombie company. Like nothing seems to kill them. Like they stay afloat somehow, despite like change of management, leadership, ownership, whatever. They seem to just stay. I don't know how. I don't know how they. I have no idea how they exist as a company.
Well, they've actually been pretty good. They've been pretty solid. Like they keep their viewership. They got 100,000 loyal viewers, and they keep coming back because at least they give coherent storylines and wrestling angles that are gonna finish and not get cut off or not disappear for no reason.
But you can't really watch them anywhere. You have to you have to get that Impact channel to watch them, or No,
it's on illegally. It's on cable access TV.
Well, no.
It's a
lot of people don't have access to it. I don't.
Well, you gotta have more than the
I
basic package. Yeah, you gotta have like some premium package or something.
Exactly.
So a lot of people can't access it then. Well, no pun intended.
Man, Robert,
you're
the king of puns. You're the king of puns.
There has to be pun intended.
Hey, but TNA, if you look back at some of the ratings from like 2008, 2009, they were drawing like
more than AEW.
Sometimes almost 2 million.
Yeah.
Over 1 million easily. Way more than AEW is getting right now.
Way more.
I think the wrestling fan kind of respected TNA in a big way at that time, and they got a lot of the WWE guys or former WCW guys, Big Papa Pump, Booker T, Kevin Nash, Sting. So they were in a small arena. They looked a little low rent, but it was good stuff. It was good wrestling. So at least there was an alternative to WWE for that period of time. But in any case, all right, let's move along. We do got some topics I want to get to from this past week. Let's just go over some angles. We're going to start on Smackdown from October 20th, which was the furthest thing, the last thing that we didn't talk about. That was the day we recorded, I think. So on that day, if I could get some clips up here, some stuff I bookmarked. We were in the middle of an LA Knight feud with Roman Reigns. And he had a scene here with Paul Heyman. Roman didn't show up that day, last Friday. He did tonight. I'll just spoil that for you guys since you guys haven't seen it yet. But they had that
spoil it for me.
Contract signing night.
Yeah, that's right.
So that was a big night. So let's go backwards a week. I don't know if you guys remember anything about this promo with Heyman and LA Knight. This was good stuff, though, I thought. LA Knight has been killing it on this feud. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I thought it was funny that I think LA Knight at first told him to leave, but when Paul Heyman was leaving, like, oh, no, don't go anywhere.
He said, I thought you told me to leave. He's like, I don't care what you think. Yeah. So LA Knight's looking pretty strong here.
Hell yeah.
Vlad?
I heard that.
Sorry, go ahead, Robert.
I heard that LA Knight's merch is actually outselling Roman Reigns right now. That's interesting. I knew he was hot, but I didn't know he was outselling Roman Reigns. Pretty much all the big names right now, he's outselling them. So cool. Kudos to him.
Vlad, any thoughts about this segment? So with Paul Heyman here.
Yeah. Well, I think I said, what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago, when they first made it clear that this would be the rivalry, the feud. LA Knight really did a good job with his promo when he was first introduced with it, and how he went at Roman and went at the bloodline. I thought it's been smooth sailing since then. He did a good job here. You know, Heyman is just. I think Heyman is great to work with. You know, the psychology behind Heyman, like the faces Heyman makes, and it's probably, you know, they worked out a way to make this like really pretty solid stuff. So overall, yeah, this was good. I don't remember specifically word for word everything he said, but I just remember being like, yeah, he's doing a good job. You know.
Well, all right. So you guys are in for a treat for the next episode. It's good stuff. It's going to continue on. But I think we'll move on to the next angle I want to move on to from this episode of SmackDown from October 20th is the John Cena promo, which I thought honestly was one of my favorite promos from John Cena ever. I thought it was a really great promo. Like he was talking about how he hasn't won in a while and he believes in himself and he's not going to give in to the numbers, and he was pretty fired up and he was giving some good acting. He was pretty emotional about it. So, and then the scene itself was pretty cool, the booking, because he's like, I want to win, and the next guy who comes out here is going to be some stupid idiot because he's going to get his ass kicked. And Solo Sikoa's music hits right at that second, and I was like, damn, this is pretty well done, because he's already in a feud with Solo, and Solo walks out there like a G, like not afraid. Yeah. He's like, all right, I guess we're going to do this. So this is the match.
Any guy that cracks his neck before he comes out is definitely dangerous. He's dangerous.
He's ready to fight. So I'll say I was a fan of this scene. Did I bookmark anything else? They had a little bit of a fight. I'll go through what happened in this scene. So Jimmy comes out, obviously, and they're gonna beat down him 2-on-1. And a masked guy comes in to help Cena, and it turns out to be Jey Uso. So Uso comes in and he's unmasked, and so right when he's unmasked, security erupts and grabs him. So the 2-on-1 beatdown in the ring on a celebrity is okay, but since Jey Uso doesn't work for SmackDown technically, he shouldn't be involved in this. So, okay. So I'll just say I think the Cena Solo stuff has been done pretty good. Any thoughts on that? I'll start with Vlad.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you that Cena's always a good promo. I can't really say this specific promo is better than previous promos or whatever. He's always captivating on the mic to me. I know some people find him boring at times because he's repetitive, and he is repetitive, especially like the goody good two shoes Cena. But at the same time, he's like obviously well spoken. He can cut a really good promo. So this was good. And
I thought this was extra special from a Cena promo, though, especially considering he's at a different time in his career where he's not really at the top. He's not like Super Cena. He's got kind of a new character, but he's trying to show a lot of determination, you know. And I think it's to me, I did see a lot of John Cena promos in my life, a lot. I sat through basically most of them, and most of them were not this. So I like.
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah, this was fine. I think what I find kind of silly is every time we get closer to Survivor Series, and it's going to be Raw versus, it's going to be Raw versus SmackDown type thing, elimination type match, whatever they're going to come up with. They start coming up with like, oh, this guy can't be here. He's a Raw guy, or this guy shouldn't be here. He's a SmackDown guy. But it never matters before Survivor Series. Everybody comes in and out all the time. Nobody calls security on these people. There's people getting mauled in the ring for 35 minutes when the Bloodline were doing it. There's no security. So it's kind of, I just found it a little silly that just because he came in and attacked his brother, that he was going to be, they were calling security. That's all I have to say on that.
Well, before I get Robert's thoughts on this, I guess I'll go through the end of what happened was since Jay came in and security came in, and that gave Cena a chance to give Solo an attitude adjustment. And I think that was it for the night. They powdered out, the bad guys had to leave, and Cena had the bragging rights, at least for the moment, until whatever happens next. So, Robert, you got any thoughts about Cena and Solo Sikoa coming up at Crown Jewel?
Let me talk about the promo first.
Okay.
So,
yes.
My thoughts on the promo, and I don't know if maybe I was the only one that thought this, but when he started off saying, like, I haven't won in a very long time. At some point, I gotta start facing reality, stuff like that. I thought he was trying to lead people on into thinking that he was about to say he's gonna retire, and
Right.
I took that as a playful jab towards Sting's retirement speech from
So,
2 nights prior. I thought I thought it was like a clever little reference to that. But then he turned it around and said, "No, I'm gonna beat the crap out of whoever comes out next." And so so it ended up not being a retirement speech, but it to me I felt like he was trying to lead people on into thinking he was gonna make a similar speech as Sting's at first, but then he flipped it. So that's my thought on the promo. And it was good. I don't maybe one of the better ones in recent memory. But I don't know, like out of like all his promos, if it was this was one of his best, but it was really good. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the feud with Solo Sikoa, and good for Solo. He's been on a roll, having a lot of feuds with like top names. He doesn't beat all of them, but at least he's feuding with them, so he's on a pretty good trajectory.
Hey, he's holding his own too. He looks like he
Yeah,
belongs.
true.
Vlad, before I move on, do you want to say anything about Solo versus Cena? Who's going to win that?
it's a good question. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Cena needs his win.
I was about to say, after Cena's words where he's like saying that he really needs a win, you would think he would win because, but then again, he's leaving shortly, right? Like he's not going to be here long term. He's leaving probably in like the next couple. Maybe the Saudi Arabia show could be his last show for a while, right? So wouldn't you then put Solo over? I don't know. I think that's a good question. I mean, for me, I would put Solo over, but I think they might give it to Cena here.
Yeah, I think a loss won't kill Solo that bad. I think, especially if there's interference and Jimmy's flying around and stuff going on everywhere, they can
Right.
give Cena a nice win in front of the hometown Saudi Arabia crowd. But okay,
Hometown. Why are
Okay.
Saudi Arabians are his town or his hometown?
I'm sure they love Cena over there. You know,
Oh, I see. Oh, all right. Well, I don't know. I guess.
probably a lot of Saudi Arabian little Jimmys, little Jamals or whatever. But
Little Jamal.
is that racist? Hopefully not. Anyways,
I don't think so.
let's move along. So that's some WWE talk. We might come back to some WWE, but I want to go back to AEW. Well, not back to. We haven't talked about AEW yet today, but we're always going back to AEW because AEW is number one in our hearts as of right now.
Number one in our hearts.
Well, on our show here, they give us the most material to talk about. I think just
They
because
do.
Okay, you're right. You're
of
right.
how wild
Good
and
or
chaotic
bad.
the show is.
Good or bad.
So-
Good or bad. Yes.
But I'm going to jump to the top story in AEW, I would say, is the MJF storyline, which dominated the week at Dynamite especially. But he's got a lot going on, and the show is really centered around him, which is really good because he's the champion. So let's go through some of it. So I'm going to jump to first Collision, at least one little clip I'll show from Collision from October 21st, from Saturday. So this was one day after that really cool Rocky Romero Mystico match on Rampage. So the next night was
The
Saturday
hell?
night, and
Okay,
Bullet
don't
Club
worry.
Gold had just beat a job team, the Outrunners, and they were gloating. And Jay White still has MJF's world title belt, or his world title belt, depending on how you look at it. But the lights go out here, and a video comes up. The lights had already gone out earlier in the night for Malakai Black, but a guy in the MJF mask comes on. So we've been talking about this on this show, about the mystery of who this could possibly be. So here's a little, not really a clue. There was really nothing. He just kind of showed up and looked spooky. And I think Bullet Club Gold thought they might get jumped. They were looking around and nothing happened. So that was that. So they just left. So that was from Saturday. So I'll jump to Wednesday night Dynamite after that, where a lot of stuff happened. So I'm going to go through the first 30 minutes of the show here. We're not going to do the whole episode. We're not doing like a whole Dynamite review today or anything. But the whole first 30 minutes of the show had to do with MJF. So he came out first. He had a promo with Renee. So she's interviewing him before his Dynamite Diamond Ring defense against Juice Robinson. So that's going to be the opening match. So right before he goes out, he's going to get interviewed here. And he's calling Adam Cole, right? And then Roderick Strong shows up in a wheelchair. Why is he in a wheelchair, Vlad? I get the neck brace, but he had a match with, maybe the match with Samoa Joe that he had was really
It
screwed
set
him
him
up.
over the. Yeah, it made him worse.
Because he was already injured. He was playing injured. So,
you're like, why is he in a wheelchair? Like, I give a shit. Why isn't he in a wheelchair is the better question. He should stay in that wheelchair. Okay, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Ken. Go ahead.
so MJF doesn't want his help. They offer his help, and he wheels them away, and they run off kind of comedically after that.
Yeah.
So he pushed him in his wheelchair, and Taven and Bennett run after him, and they're out of the scene. So MJF can continue cutting a really intense promo on Juice Robinson. Good promo. Good work. Really
Very
good. What is this? Is this another scene from this dude, whoever this dude is? So he cut off MJF's promo right here, right? Okay. So we'll jump to the match, first match of the night. So hot opening. I thought it would be the main event, but okay. So it's Juice Robinson against MJF. MJF comes out hot, which, after everything they put him through, it makes sense. So I thought this was good stuff. Throws Juice Robinson over a table. Very intense matchup. Juice got color.
Juice got juice.
Juice got juice. Lots of interference from the Gun Club. Choking MJF out with his own scarf. I thought that was a really nice touch. I thought that was hilarious. So Jay White comes in to the ramp. He didn't come with them initially to start the match, but he joins up with commentary, which was really funny because when MJF did his dive out to the guns, Jay White's on commentary saying, they got nothing to do with this. Leave them alone. So, Vlad, me and my brother have been kind of we've turned into fans of Jay White. We used to be MJF fans, but we're really digging this heel Jay White stable. I don't know. You're not really digging it as much as we are, but I'm a Jay White fan basically recently. Well, there's no one else. Christian too, but there's really not many people giving us reasons to root for them. But if I could move on to, I think this is the finish here. It was a Dynamite or Diamond Ring contest, basically. They were both trying to nail each other with the rings they had, and Juice missed, and MJF nailed him, and got the victory, the 3 count. So had to deal with a lot, but he did defend the Dynamite Diamond Ring here, and I was kind of surprised by this because if he was leaving in 2024, you'd think this would be the chance for him to drop the ring, unless they could just vacate the ring if he leaves. But that's also a possibility. But there you go. He's the victor. But there was more to this match. There was more that happened after the match. There's an afterbirth, as they call it. So let me go through that before I get some comments from you guys, because this is going to be wild. Get a load of this. So MJF is getting beaten down in the middle of the ring by the Gun Club, and they wheel down Roddy. I don't know why he had to come, but the Kingdom wheel down Roddy, and they actually go try to help him, but they can't really. They get sent out of the ring themselves, and the beatdown on MJF continues, and they're going to nail him with the title belt, and the Acclaimed's music is who hits, the music that hits. So they come in, and they clear the ring, and they try to well, okay, first, before I get to what happens with the Acclaimed and MJF, Jay White cut a promo, trying to get in MJF's head. The Gun Club, they cut a promo, they want a Ring of Honor title match at the pay-per-view, with all that MJF has going on. And MJF, like a super babyface, like the greatest babyface of all time, basically, accepts. Even if Adam Cole's not going to be there, I guess it'll be a handicap match. Okay? And also, they're looking for a partner for MJF to face the Bullet Club to get his world title belt back, and Roderick Strong and the Acclaimed are arguing over who that should be. And MJF says he would never team with Roddy, and Roddy is all, butthurt by that. Also, he says the same thing to Max Caster. He would never team with him, which really turned into a hilarious moment because he said we would never ever team with you, and Max Caster said, "So you're saying there's a chance?" Which got a huge pop from the crowd. But in the end, he will not scissor with them, and he leaves the ring again, still friendless. So, and then after all that, Kenny Omega's music hits after MJF told him 13 days, bitch, last Wednesday, until he overtakes him for longest reigning AEW World Champion. And here comes Kenny Omega, and he says, yeah, I have no right to ask you for a title shot, but I'm going to do it anyways because I have a right to defend my streak. And Super MJF accepts his challenge too. Anybody's challenge. But whatever, he'll do it. So this Saturday, tomorrow on Collision, it's going to be MJF and Kenny Omega. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Psycho stuff. So, and the scene ended with MJF saying, or Kenny Omega saying 3 days, bitch, to MJF just like he did. So, that's actually tomorrow, so that's 1 day, bitch. And then after that, Wardlow is really like been in his home stewing about MJF being world champion, and he wants to take him out too, which is to me pretty hilarious that somehow he turned into a heel, even though he didn't do anything. But now MJF is the babyface, and somehow Wardlow's the heel. Whew. So boom, there you go. I went through all of it, guys. Goddamn, that was
you did great, man.
Well, actually, no. I'm lying. There's one more scene I have to get to. It's this one. The one last scene in Dynamite that had MJF came later on in the night, and that was when he was getting interviewed by Renee, and Samoa Joe finds them and offers up his services to be MJF's friend, because he says, you've got a serious lack of friends at the moment, you need some friends. And he offers to do it, help him out. He just wants a title shot at the end. So everybody wants a title shot. So this is it's kind of a good deal, decent deal, I guess. He might as well take the deal, Vlad. But anyway, so that's everything that happened with MJF on the night. Let's just go to Vlad. Vlad, you go. What do you think of all this?
Oh, jeez. Where do I begin? I don't even know where to begin or where to end. Okay, I mean...
MJF. This is all centered around MJF, obviously. Yeah, well, I mean,
that part is good, but some of it is not really... some of it is just downright silly, and some of it is tongue-in-cheek silly, and some of it you can't really take serious. But I think there's two things going on here. At the very least, there's one thing going on, maybe not two. There's a possibility that he is leaving in 2024, so they're getting everything they possibly could out of him before he goes. Or there's a possibility that he stays, but they don't know. It could go 50-50. And just in case, they're putting him in everything, that they possibly could, Either they know he's going, he's told them that, I'm going to WWE, which I think he should, or he's said that, or they don't know, but either way, they're kind of just throwing everything they could before he does go. He'll fight Kenny Omega, or he'll fight Jay White, he'll fight Samoa Joe again, he'll fight Wardlow again, he'll fight everybody that he's got to fight, every feud before he goes, so they're throwing everything out there.
ROH tag titles, yeah, all that.
ROH tag titles. Well, the ROH tag titles is just insanely stupid. I mean, he doesn't even have his partner, so it's just idiotic at this point. He said, "Oh, I'll accept what." Unless he's gonna, if Joe's gonna be his partner, that's okay. Obviously that's different. That's if Joe's gonna be legit his partner for that match, okay. But But anyways, I don't know. I don't really know what to make of it all. I think a lot of it is silly. I think obviously there's a big there's emphasis on this Kenny Omega match because I think honestly I'm more interested in the Omega match than I am the Jay White stuff. I don't know what the hell you're talking about with Jay White stuff. You're a big fan of what? He just rants and raves and nobody understands a single word he's saying. I mean,
They're asshole heels. They're hilarious, man.
Okay, I think the guys are hilarious, but we're talking about Jay White specifically. You like? I mean, that's what I'm trying to understand. Like, yeah, Juice is
Yeah,
good.
I don't mind him. Yeah, I like Juice the best, but Jay White's fine. He's got a funny voice. He's in shape. He looks ripped. He's got a cool move set.
Yeah, he's fine. Like I said, he's a good worker. He's very good. But I don't, I'm not really like enthralled with something like that. Like you're a big fan. Like you're saying, oh, me and my brother are like huge fans now. I go, for what? He hasn't. I don't think he deserves that.
Taking over the MJF spot on the show. At least someone's trying to be a dickhole on the show. Someone's got to be the bad guy that we root for.
Yeah.
We were the ones who are rooting for the NWO. We want the cool heels.
Yeah, but,
these are the coolest heels on the show, I guess.
I don't think Jay White is a cool heel. I have to be honest with you. I think Christian, you could say maybe is a semi-cool heel, but I don't think Jay White is a cool heel. I don't put him in that category. I think he's a heel. A cool one is debatable. I guess what everybody, it's subjective. I guess what people find cool, but yeah. I mean, I think bottom line is they're throwing everything they could at this, and I think it's because they don't know if he's staying or going, and they're just playing it safe in case he decides to go. And I think MJF is being a team player, like he's going to do whatever he has to do until the time comes for him to make a decision up front.
Robert, you go next. I'll go after you.
All right, cool. Well, there's a lot to unpack because you showed a lot there.
Yeah, do your best.
Okay, I'll start from what I think was the beginning. The opening promo from MJF was pretty cool. He was really pumped up for the match. He was ready to whoop Juice very clearly. The match with Juice was pretty cool too. I think it was a little shorter than I expected it to be, but it was still good. And with the Kingdom coming out and the Acclaim coming out afterwards, all that commotion that happened. I thought some of the highlights were like when Max Caster, asked them to scissor and MJF just closed the scissor. I thought that was funny. I was like, yes, finally somebody closed the scissor instead of just doing the scissor. Thank goodness. And Roderick Strong yelling out MJF's name when holding the microphone, and
Max!
MJF right in front of him, like Max. And then what was MJF's reaction? He was like, "I'm standing right in front of you." Yeah. I thought that was pretty hilarious. And then for the Kenny Omega thing, K-On, I know we already talked about this earlier before this episode. I'm excited for this match. Heck yeah! I know I did mention to you, off air outside of this episode that, like, as far as like financial sense, like business wise, it doesn't make sense that they're putting this on Collision. It feels more like a pay-per-view match, right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
But so it doesn't make sense, like in a business perspective, that they're putting it on Collision. But I'm excited nonetheless. Like this is giving me a reason to watch Collision this Saturday. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Wait, what else happened? What?
I was gonna say, you guys got a prediction for that MJF match? Because I don't think it'll have a conclusive ending with all the feuds going on with these people.
Well,
I'd be surprised if somebody goes over clean.
Well, okay, either there's no conclusive ending or MJF wins, but I don't see Kenny Omega winning.
That would throw quite a wrench into everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing I could say for certain is Kenny Omega will not win, but whether or not there's a conclusive finish or not.
I think that would be cool, though. I think that would be. How about Kenny Omega, the Masked Man?
Okay.
And then he takes the world title, and it becomes a three-way match at the pay-per-view.
You're making me rethink my Adam Copeland prediction.
I don't think it's Kenny Omega. I think he's a name on the list. He could be a possibility, but I don't think so.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, one name I think we should rule out would be Adam Cole, just because it doesn't
Huh?
make sense because his leg injury was legitimized at around that same time. So they can't say that they faked the injury. It's been reported that that was legit. So Adam Cole can't be a suspect. I think you can cross his name off. It could possibly be Roderick Strong, maybe, or Christian, or my original prediction, Adam Copeland. But it can't be. It wouldn't make sense if it turned out to be Adam Cole. That's all I'm gonna say about that. What am I
It would be
missing
crazy if it was Roderick Strong too, though, because dude, he's such a goof. He has. I knew a guy who talked just like Roddy. Every time I hear him talk, he's got like that surfer accent or something. Like like grew up on the beach surfing every day. But
Does he yell? Does he yell people's names out?
no. But if I were to give some thoughts about this whole MJF stuff from this episode, because I was impressed at how he's kind of connected to so many things. I mean, it didn't really connect through the whole episode, but for the most part, it's the main thread. He's the main storyline. He's the champion. So I really liked it. I'm impressed with it. I think this is an impressive run. This part of his career.
Well, I disagree. I don't think it's impressive. I think a lot of it is just dumb. It's the stuff with the Claimed and Roddy is just dumb. We've already said that it's dumb.
Well, yeah, okay.
The Claimed, I think they're.
But what about that babyface promo that he did before the match? The babyface promo, that's one of the best babyface promos, and the way he was riling up the crowd while he was throwing juice into the crowd and stuff. He's doing best babyface work out of anyone that I've seen in the business, really.
MJF is the best wrestler maybe in the world. I mean, I think you could make a case. He's fantastic as in ring, on the mic, everything, right? He's a total package wrestler. But as far as the stuff that he's doing, the gimmick, or all the gimmicks that he's involved with, all these different people that he's dealing with, like I said, it's just not good. This is not the best stuff that he's been doing, definitely, since.
But he's also putting in a lot of work in the ring. Like, he's going to be defending ROH titles. He defended the Diamond Ring here. He's defending the title on Saturday to Kenny Omega. Like, dude, this is a crazy period. Like, if you look at it as a mark, as a mark, this is the writing or whatever, the booking is a little, what the hell's going on? But as a mark, and you're looking at it like, damn, MJF is really impressive here. This is a crazy run. This is a crazy run for him.
I agree that he's doing, but like a lot of it is just, like you said, a lot of it also doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like Robert said, like, why would you put Omega and MJF at a collision? Why not save that for a pay-per-view? I mean, why put him in like all this silly stuff? I mean, there's just too much to criticize for me to say, like, to be really positive about the whole thing. I mean, obviously I like MJF. Everybody knows that. Anybody that has any wrestling sense likes MJF. But still, there's a lot of stuff here that you could just like point your finger at and just say, like, dude, what the heck are we doing, man? So I am excited for the match. I do think it's gonna be a good match. Obviously, we don't expect Omega to win because that would just be asinine at this point. But I think it will be. I am more excited for this match than I am the stuff with Jay White. I have to be honest. That I will admit.
All right. Well, we got to move on. We got a few other things to talk about. This was the main storyline, so we gave it some good time. But the next headline I want to head to is the Swerve Strickland stuff, which I know Vlad's a big fan of. But, so this came after the Elite won a six-man trios, or Ring of Honor six-man tag team title defense against the Hardys and Brother Zay. So right afterwards, the video comes up on the screen that somebody is in Hangman Page's house, and it's Swerve Strickland. And
whose house?
Well, right now it's Swerve's house because he's in there, and Prince Nana is eating his grapes off the table, and his children's drawings on the fridge, and his children's books on the coffee table, and even goes over to his child's playpen or whatever what do you call that? The bed where they sleep in?
The crib.
Baby crib. So he's literally hovering over Hangman Page's kid's baby crib, talking shit, and he what does he do? He throws a T-shirt at him or something. He doesn't do any violence on the kid, but he did break into his house. So let's get some thoughts on this segment. Vlad, I could see you shaking your head. What do you think about this?
This is the second time. I'm trying to keep a straight face, but Kayhan and Robert are already laughing, so it's hard for me to keep a straight face. This is the second time this guy has broken into somebody's house and either left them. He beat up Nick Wayne, right? That's what he did. They left him bloody.
Assaulted him.
Assaulted him and left him like a bloody mess. Now he breaks into somebody else. This guy constantly breaking into house. It's a dumb thing, you know. There's no realism involved when you just break into somebody or break into somebody's house. And where is everybody? Like, there's no one in the house. Who's
the baby was there. Well, the wife, I guess, is asleep maybe at 7 in the afternoon.
She didn't hear that there's two guys eating all the food and talking all loud, and there's a cameraman filming all this.
Well, at the end, Prince Nana's like, "We got to get out of here. Like, it's getting hot or something." Like, maybe they called the cops because they're on TV. And
yeah, it's getting hot. All right.
The question to me was it live? Was it live or was it pre-recorded? Because if it's live.
Well, obviously the thing was pre-recorded, but
it was pre-recorded.
It was supposed to be live.
I'm sure it was pre-recorded.
Supposed to be live, but it obviously was pre-recorded.
Okay, so on the show, it's supposed to be live. So that means that's an AEW cameraman who broke into the house with them. So because he's in on it, he's like, "We're gonna go break into his house." So the AEW cameraman didn't tell Hangman Page that this guy is telling me, "Hey, we're gonna go try to break into your house."
We're going to break into your house where your wife and kids are and you're sleeping or whatever.
And, you know, the production team, like Toni Khan and everybody, is getting word that there's a video feed coming in from the cameraman who is saying, hey, we're at Hangman Page's house. We're ready to send a feed in. So none of the production crew decided to tell Hangman Page that someone's in his house. So, yeah, lots of logical plot holes here. Sorry, I didn't.
Terrible.
I didn't get Robert's. Robert hasn't spoken yet on this.
Please, Robert, speak on this.
Did you like this? Is this good?
I don't know if I'd say I liked it, and I didn't hate it though. I just thought it's hilarious that in
it was pretty funny.
We're still recording crime happen, like breaking and entering. Let's just record it. Why not? But I didn't hate it. Didn't necessarily like it either.
Maybe there's like some sort of contract between these wrestlers that once they get onto a promotion together, it's just all out violence between them. So anything can happen. Expect anything. Once you're in a wrestling promotion with somebody, the next dude next to you could just, whack you outside in the parking lot. It's just how it is. You're just in wrestling now.
Yeah.
But
don't try to rationalize stupid stuff. Just call it for what it is. It's goddamn stupid, and let's move on. Why do we got to rationalize and analyze stuff that's just dumb, that makes no sense wrestling-wise or anything? It's just call it for what it is, and let's just call it that, and let's move on with it.
They probably thought this made Swerve Strickland look really cool. Like, this gave him a lot of heat. Like, damn, this is a really nasty thing to do. Imagine he's over his his opponent's baby and literally in his house. Like, it's crazy if you really think about it. It's wild. But.
Yeah, I mean it is wild if it was, but I don't know.
If it wasn't so unrealistic. You're saying it's completely unrealistic.
Yeah, it's too unrealistic. Yes, exactly.
Well, they could make it realistic if they just made a police report after this. Like, they should shoot a scene for next week with Hangman Page going to the police station and filing a report saying, hey, this guy went into my house. We have footage of it here. It's on AEW Dynamite.
If they want to show Prince Nana in jail, I might take a little bit of it back, but until that time comes,
see if he still dances in jail.
Exactly. If he's still in a good mood when he's in the county jail.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next angle. We're gonna try to hit 90 minutes. If we don't, once we hit 90 minutes, if we don't get to some of our stories, it's okay because they get progressively less and less important,
Interesting.
as you'll see.
It's all right.
So I'm trying to hit the good ones or the important ones at first, the headlines at least. So the next one I got is the gift that Toni Khan was going to present to Sting, which turned into one of a segment on our YouTube channel. Vlad, I don't know if you saw it, but it was just 10 seconds. It was just you sighing.
Yes. Oh, me sighing? Well,
yeah.
'cause I didn't like
Yeah,
the beginning.
I was like, hey, Vlad, Toni Khan is going to present Sting with a gift next week. And you went, ah. And that was it. That was the whole segment.
Yeah, probably because it was because you mentioned Toni Khan. And I always sigh. That's my immediate reaction when I hear that name.
The idea of just, he's going to present him with a gift. Like, how lame is this? But anyway, so the gift turned out to be Ric Flair. So he's now, Sting owns Ric Flair. He could take him home with him, put him up, in a case or something like that. So, no, but I'm joking around. But really, the gift is, I guess, literally that Toni Khan looked past the fact of Ric Flair's controversies and said, all right, despite all that, I'm going to let him on the show because this would mean a lot to Sting. So the whole helicopter thing, or doing the helicopter on the airplane with the other WWE wrestlers to the stewardess, and all that. So let's put that to the side, and we got the legendary Ric Flair in an AEW ring. So Ric Flair is all elite. But anyways, what happened in this scene? Let's go through some of it before we get some comments about this. Ric Flair cut a relatively tame promo, I thought. Nothing wild like he usually is. He did a little slap, so these guys are like, chest slap on Sting, having a nice time, hooting and hollering. It's very funny. It's very nice. This is how it is when you get older, the older wrestlers. But then Christian's music hits, and this is when things get serious. So Christian comes out and cuts some good shit on Ric Flair. I don't know if you remember anything he said. I don't have anything written down, but he did say that.
Something about him being dead, right? That he should be dead or something.
He said if there is a God, Ric Flair should have been dead 20 years ago.
Damn.
Yes. That's he's. I mean, not that he should be dead, but he should be dead given up his lifestyle.
So Christian comes in, gets some heat. Actually, got a lot of heat. Got a "fuck you, Christian" chant going. You think that is like a wrestler's #1 dream in the world, to get a chant like that going against him. But Christian, in the end, challenges him to like a 3-on-3 match or something. I think not Ric Flair, but they got to go find a partner. Sting and Darby have to find a partner. And he also said that he wants to retire Sting before Revolution, put him out, and injure him.
Put him out of his misery. Right.
Yeah, exactly. So then Sting retorts with he's allergic to assholes, and he accepts their challenge, and that's that. Cut scene.
Yeah.
So there you go. Vlad, let's start with you. Any thoughts on Ric Flair getting a chance to at least have one appearance, or do you think this is going to be a continual thing? Is he going to be on the show a little more? What's your feeling on this whole thing?
He'll be on the show a bit. I think he'll be on the show especially when it's the match happens, like the last match, like it gets closer to that. I think he'll be there. I think that's what Flair said. As long as he doesn't have any controversies between now and then. But I think it's cool. It's Ric Flair. He's considered by many people, I think I was telling Keon in the text that, despite Keon saying that this was like a lame segment or by Flair, or I forgot what you said, but Ric Flair is considered by many like the greatest of all time. And I think it's cool to have him there, and the relationship with Sting, the fact that they had the main event on Nitro and the last match on Nitro in the history, the fact that they have such a correlation together, like you can't say one without the other because they've had so many matches and so many moments together. So I think it's cool, and like I said, Flair's a legend. Flair's one of the greats of all time. So it was nice seeing him. Obviously, he's I don't think he should wrestle, given what we saw in that independent promotion.
How about going through a table? Can he go through a table?
Oh no, no.
I don't think he looks pretty
just
fragile,
gotta lay
to
there,
be
dude.
honest.
Mae Young went through a table. He can go through a table. I think it would be a huge pop. I think it would be worth the risk. That's just me.
Mae
But
Young,
anyways,
that's true. That's true. Mae Young did go through a table, but I mean, look, but I think Flair is Flair almost died, like literally, like not that long ago. He had like an issue where he was in like ICU for like a month. So, and people were like thinking this could be it for him. So I don't think he really should go through a table, but it's Flair, so you never know. He probably will want to do something physical. Probably, I think I could see Flair taking a bump, but I hope it's not like a crazy bump. But yeah, it's cool to see him. I don't know what else to say. He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. I don't think that can really be argued.
I don't know. I didn't really feel the excitement about it when he came out. I was like, I'm as big a Ric Flair fan as anybody, but the way it was done too, okay, it was nice, but nothing earth-shattering or groundbreaking. It's just Ric Flair.
It was supposed to be a touching moment for Sting, who,
sure,
like I said,
okay. Yeah, they talked about that whole Clash of the Champions match they had and how it made Sting, put him on the map. Right. I think Ric Flair needs to get out there and have a match. The last match should be Sting and Ric Flair. That'd be nice and poetic, right? No? Okay.
I mean, like I said, I don't think anybody wants to see Flair wrestle a full match, especially against Sting, for God's sakes. Lord Almighty. No, that should not happen.
We got to go to Robert, man. We got to go to Robert.
Yeah.
Robert, give us your thoughts on Ric Flair appearing on AEW.
All right. So, personally, I'm kind of tired. I have a lot of respect for Ric Flair. Don't get me wrong, but I'm kind of personally tired of seeing him on wrestling television, like being brought back for whatever for a couple of appearances here and there. Like I'm kind of over it already. However, given his history with Sting, and this is really gonna be his like Sting's retirement run, it makes sense. So I guess I'm okay with it, just because it's for Sting's farewell run. So I don't hate it as much as I probably thought I would. Is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I don't know like how involved Ric Flair will be in Sting's farewell run, but I do not want to see him take any bumps personally. But I don't think it's worth the risk.
Yeah.
Like Christian made the joke that he's Ric Flair is one super kick away from his pacemaker being like kicked out or something like that. Like okay, that was. I don't know how. I don't know if does he really have a pacemaker? I'm not sure, but I don't know. The extent of his health issues, but I just personally don't think it's worth it for him to take any bumps. That's just me. So I hope he doesn't take any personally.
I think for that Revolution match, whatever it is, I think they should go all out, balls to the walls. Everyone should be there. Hogan should be there. If they could get Lex Luger to do something, Sting, Diamond Dallas Page. Everybody, and just Ric Flair going through a table, like I said earlier, that would be freaking great. Yeah, they gotta make this like a special thing, man. They gotta make it like Sting wins the World Heavyweight title and goes out on top on the last day. That's how I would book it, personally. But anyways,
you would book Sting to win the title, like
yes.
What kind of Okay, that's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Okay.
Dude, Sting is still the baddest ass guy in AEW. He would beat anybody's ass for real, man. Come on. Yeah. Anyways, let's move along.
Agree on that one. Okay.
I got some more stories to get to, guys. Let's move along. That was the Ric Flair segment for the day. Still, yeah, so Tripp seeing Ric Flair, surprising and all that, but okay, I don't know. I think the magic is dead. Like Robert said, dude, we had a retirement in 2005. He had another retirement in freaking TNA. He had another retirement in a few months ago on that whatever one-off match that went to hell. And then again, now he's back here. Like, come on, dude, just stay home.
Yeah.
But anyways, the next story I'm going to bring up is from Raw, Monday Night Raw, which really rarely gets any run here on our show. But the Judgment Day continue feuding with Cody Rhodes, and Cody was vowing that he will never stop trying to win those tag team titles, and they responded by breaking his leg. So they fucked him up, and they came out. Here's security coming out, and Adam Pearce is there, and they're like, "No, don't do that. What are you doing, man? This is our biggest star." So they try to take him out, and he's going to go back to the trainer's room after this, selling that leg right there real bad. So let's see what happens to him. Oh, at the end of the night, when Jey Uso's getting his ass beat by Judgment Day, Cody comes out with his broken leg. So I guess this is going to be another thing he's going to sell for his match against Damian Priest.
Did they say that it was broken? No, right? Or did they?
No, I guess we don't know. It doesn't look broken, but I don't know what bandage job they did right there. But anyways, this show ended with him running off the Judgment Day, and there you go. So there's the Cody Rhodes update because he's a big star on the show, probably the biggest star who's should be in the title scene all the time. So we're always kind of keeping an eye on what in the world is distracting Cody Rhodes now so that he can't be fighting for the title. And at this point, it's Judgment Day. So any thoughts about this week's action, Vlad, and the lead up to him and Damian Priest at Crown Jewels coming up next Saturday?
I mean, I think it's going to be, as far as the feud with the Judgment Day, it's been pretty good. I'm excited for the match. I think it's going to be a good match. Priest, I really like, individually. And obviously Cody is tremendous. I mean, there's no denying that. But he's already had that thing with Lesnar where Lesnar broke his arm, right? It was his arm.
Yeah. So, it seems kind of a repeat of that. That's what I was going to say. Nothing really on the line here either. I guess it is a grudge match, but
it's more of a grudge match, right? They messed with him. They lost the tag team titles to them, right? So there's obviously he's been feuding with them ever since he got to like Raw, right? So I'm good with it. It's fine. I mean, these are like the top heel group versus the against the top baby face, but I can't say that it's actually been like something that I'm like dying to see type of stuff. But it's good. It's good, but not great. I'll leave it at that.
Robert, you want to give any thoughts about the Cody Rhodes feud with Damian Priest?
Sure. Well, I didn't watch Raw, that highlight that you showed. That was the first time I saw it. But regarding their feud, just on paper, like it sounds good. Like I'm a fan of both, so I'll watch Crown Jewel and I'll be excited to watch their match, even though I haven't been watching Raw and don't really know the build up until you guys show me the highlights. But yeah, I mean on paper it's a good matchup, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think I'm with Vlad on this one. It's not great, but it's not bad. It's like, okay, it's just another thing that's keeping Cody away from the title, and it is a worthy thing. It's Judgment Day, so there are no scrubs. Okay, they're going to have that match. It's fine. We'll see who wins. We'll see what happens. Let me move along. The next person I'm going to bring up from Raw is Rhea Ripley. So she's off on another mission herself. She's going around to different people trying to recruit them or, I don't know, build alliances somehow. So this was one scene with Seth freaking Rollins that was in the back, which was kind of interesting because it was the men's and women's champion in the same scene together in an angle. So I don't know how many times I've seen that in the past. Maybe it's happened, but thought that was kind of cool. So she's doing that. She's also interfering in Drew McIntyre's match with Sami Zayn, which was a great match, probably maybe match of the week. But her little booty shake up there was enough to cause Sami Zayn to lose that match. So she's also helping out Drew McIntyre. She talked to him the week before about some kind of alliance. So I don't know what the heck's going on. She's kind of leaving Judgment Day in the dark, it seems. They don't know. She's just like, trust me, or whatever. And she's also involved in a fatal five-way match at Saudi Arabia. So she's got all kinds of stuff going on. But as far as the Judgment Day stuff, lots of possibilities. Any thoughts on that? Let's start with Robert.
Well, first of all, I want to say I wouldn't mind any alliance with Mommy. That's for sure.
Yeah, she should get everybody aligned with her.
Yeah, like who's gonna say no? Hold on. I'm sorry. What was your question again?
Just
distracted.
thoughts on the whole thing with Rhea. You know, whatever she's up to. We don't really know what it is yet. It's just her going around
Okay.
talking to people, building little alliances, or we don't know who's going to want to join her or if anyone's going to bite the bait. Usually, no one's really been biting. A lot of people have been offered to join Judgment Day. Jey Uso said no,
Okay.
but I don't see
Yeah.
Seth Rollins or
Well,
really Drew. I mean, Drew McIntyre. I could see him getting some leather on maybe and joining that group. You know, he's
okay.
got nothing
Yeah,
going
that makes
on.
sense.
I guess I don't know. Any thoughts? If you don't got any
Well,
thoughts, we can move on. But
not really, because I'm just barely hearing about it right now. And I haven't watched Raw, but yeah, I think as far as alliances go, Drew McIntyre, he's heel right now, right? I think that would make sense if
he's heel.
there
But
was
although
alliance.
he really didn't do anything to become a heel, he's just kind
Okay.
of you know upset that he's been cheated out of championships many times. He's telling the
Okay.
truth about it. People called him a sore loser. Seth Rollins said he should let it go. Somehow he became a heel. I don't know. I don't really
Huh.
get that. But he is a heel. But yes,
All right. Okay. I could see Drew, you know, an alliance forming with Drew, but I don't know about who else. Who else did she talk to?
Seth
Seth.
Rollins, the
Seth.
world heavyweight
That
champion.
would be
Yeah,
a no. I
yeah.
would
Well,
say
she said you could join our group so that way we won't cash in on you and maybe we'll cash in on someone else. So that was one thing she
I don't.
dangled out there.
I still don't think Seth would say yes. I
Sure.
don't see that happening.
Well, Vlad, you saw this scene. You liking
I
any of
did.
this stuff, or is it kind of getting too convoluted?
It's slightly convoluted, but I'm obviously a big fan of Rhea Ripley, so I don't mind it. I guess there's some sort of strategic thing that she's like trying to come up with here. So it's supposed to be like like she is the leader. Like they've hinted. Well, they even hinted. They pretty much have said, like the announcers have said that despite what they say, Rhea Ripley is the leader of Judgment Day, right? So she's the strategic mastermind behind all their crazy ideas, and this is supposed to be another one of like mind games that she's playing with all the people that could potentially be like the world champion. You know. So I think it's more that. I don't know if they even want Drew in the group, though. I guess Drew would be a kind of fit in with the group, to be honest, more than anybody else that I would see.
Yeah, I mean,
So
if Finn Balor can be in the group, then Drew
yeah,
McIntyre
then
could
why
be in
can
that group.
then Drew McIntyre would be a fine fit for that group, I think. So I don't know where it's all going, but I don't mind it. I think Rhea's obviously kept quite busy on this show, but you have to, because it's a 3-hour show and it's a real like it's really hard to get through the show. So the more Rhea, the better, I say. Her segments at least keep me alert and awake, and I'm watching and trying to figure out what the heck is going on. So yeah, I'm for it for that reason.
And then she's obviously gonna win that 5-way match. I guess it's gonna be with you remember who was in it? Some of the people in it.
I
Nia Jax, I
have no
know, is
idea.
the main
Nia
one.
Jax, Raquel Rodriguez, was it Zoe Starks, and who's Shayna? What's her name? What's her
Shayna
last name?
Baszler?
Baszler.
Baszler. Shayna Baszler.
Good job, Vlad. Damn, paying attention.
Oh, I know all these.
Well,
I know all these people. They're
well,
supposed
this
to be
is
like
definitely
the 5 badass women, right? They're supposed because they're all kind of big, so strong and whatnot. I just hope Nia Jax doesn't cripple 4 people. That's
Oh
my
god.
only.
Oh please
I just hope she doesn't hurt anybody in this match, because that's my only concern. I think it'll be fine. I mean, it's a 5, woman match that's going to be just like anything goes type of stuff. So I hope nothing bad happens to the rest of these 4 women that have to work with her.
Well, it would be impressive if she beats those 4 women, and I think she will definitely. This is just to make her look impressive. So that's basically all
I
that
agree.
is. But kind of a cool run for her too. Similar to MJF, she's got a lot of stuff going on a bunch of different angles, and still defending her title along the way. So, all right. So
Correct.
those were. I think I did 7 stories. Did I do 7 stories so far? Let me do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So that was basically the main ones. So I'm glad I got to this point. So after this, I have stories that were like borderline whether they were going to make the show even or not. So
Secondary stories.
yeah, I guess
All
so. So we're at 65 minutes. We're trying to get to 90 minutes, stay under 90 minutes. So let's move along to another story. So I'm going to pick one, whatever, at random, I guess. The one I'll jump to was from...
You don't have the wheel today? You don't have
I don't have the wheel. Nah, I don't have the wheel. Well, I'm also doing it just based on importance. Like, some of these are really bad. So,
Sure.
but I would like to talk about the Io Sky Charlotte match, I guess, is from SmackDown from October 20th. So last Friday, 1 week ago today as we're speaking. Lots of interference, damage control. Well, I'm a fan of. I like damage control. I like Bayley. So she interferes here when Charlotte looked like she was going to get the victory and another title victory. But she gets flung into the commentator's booth there, which I thought was kind of cool. But this is going to lead to a spear, I think, that Charlotte's going to try to spear her, but Io had the title in her hand, so that led to a 3-count pinfall for Io. So Io defends the title, and then this is the part where I like damage control because Bayley's pretty hilarious here because she's selling that beating she got, crawling over the table. That was a really hilarious moment right there. Big Bayley fan over here, but they do proceed to give Charlotte a post-match beatdown, which to me is questionable whether you should do this. Like, what's the point? You're just going to make her pissed off. But maybe they're trying to take her out because she's just going to keep coming back because they definitely cheated to get through this. And then Bianca Belair's music hit, so she's a big return. So she's going to re-enter the angles. She took some time off. I don't know. I think it was a kayfabe injury. Like, it wasn't real, right? She just probably wanted to. Maybe she wanted a vacation. I don't know. That's how I remember it. But if I'm wrong, whatever. I might be wrong. So she's back, and they clean house, and they get damage control out of the ring, and he... oh, sorry. I rewinded it by mistake. But it's going to lead to her and Charlotte kind of standing tall to end SmackDown. So there you go. That's that. So I like that. If anyone wants to give thoughts, you don't have to. If I mean, it was a cool matchup. Io Sky versus Charlotte. Robert, you want to say something about it?
I thought it was cool. I enjoyed the match and what happened afterwards. I'm probably not as big of a damage control fan as you, but I do like Io Sky personally. I think she's really cool. And then it's good to see Bianca Belair back. So yeah, cool. I thought at some point Jade Cargill might make an appearance just because we saw her recently meet what's her name, Charlotte Flair.
Charlotte.
Right? Yeah. So I thought maybe she might make an appearance too, but I didn't see her anywhere on SmackDown, at least that I can remember.
No, she wasn't on the show.
Well, she was on NXT this week. She was watching. She watched the main event between Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch, which Becky Lynch ended up losing the title. So I don't know if you guys heard about that.
I did not. I did not know that even. No.
She helped make a fellow Irish lass famous. So.
Interesting.
But didn't make the cut here on my show. But yeah, it was interesting. So yeah, but Jade was there. She had like a little chair, like a big throne type of chair. And she had like 2 security guards standing to her left and right. She was just watching it. So that was her role on the show this week. Nothing physical yet. But all right, let's move along. We got 20 minutes to go. Let's see how many stories we could squeeze in. Maybe we'll do everything. Maybe. The next one I got is Miro's hot and flexible wife. She's finally made an appearance. She's going to be here on this episode of Collision, which was from last Saturday, October 21st. So she's there to watch Action Andretti against Miro. So Action and Miro has vowed to destroy anybody who's going to join this CJ Perry stable or whatever. So this was a good match, I thought. I don't know if any of you saw this one. Action Andretti gave him a good go. It was definitely not a squash. Andretti got a lot of offense in. Lots of moves. Did a dive over there. got to show the dive, but CJ Perry was impressed. But in the end, it was a submission. So Miro wins. I did have to mention Miro on this show because, man, we've talked about his God promos for like so many months, and they've never actually gotten him to the show. So finally, here he is having a match, and he wins. So that's that, and I think he just walks off after that. Doesn't really have any interaction with his wife or anything, and that's the segment. I guess I thought it was okay. Nothing crazy. They just had a decent match, pretty good match. If anyone has any thoughts, I don't know if anyone wants to go.
I didn't watch it, but that part, the highlight that you showed of CJ Perry walking down, that was pretty cool.
You like that outfit?
Yeah.
I thought it was a strange outfit, to be honest. But...
Overall, I think.
Anything else, Vlad? Other than that,
there's not really much. There's not much to say. I think it was kind of what it was. It's just like you said, it's pretty much a secondary angle. It's not really captivating that he's. I mean, it's what's his name? What's the guy's name? Andretti.
Action Andretti. Yeah.
Like Action Andretti. Yeah. So it's like whatever. It's like it truly is whatever. Not something.
Here's the dress.
Be interested about. Yeah.
Robert.
I could see why Robert only cares about this part. So it makes sense. It makes sense.
This is the highlight. This is the highlight right here.
The highlight of the whole thing is probably this. He's probably right.
That's a cool jacket, I guess. It's a little big, but what do I know? I don't know anything about fashion. But okay,
Right.
So it's going somewhere still. It's very early stages of the storyline, but I thought I'd mention what happened this week on that front. Oh man. Okay. The next storyline that I was going to talk about, but I don't really have any clips from it, is the Eddie Kingston match with Jeff Jarrett. And I'm not going to show any clips. It was just a complete garbage match, right? Just like everyone was involved, everyone on Jarrett's crew. And Kingston ended up losing, so he owes Jay Lethal a title shot now. But the story that came out of it was that he cut this incredible promo afterwards. Did you see this, Vlad? But too bad it came from like a really horrible match, right? And I'm the biggest Jeff Jarrett fan, as you guys know, but I don't really need to go through him becoming an straight up indie mud show wrestler late in his career. It's so sad to me that he was like,
what the hell, man? What is his problem? Like, why is he doing these matches? Like, he's embarrassing himself out there. Like, what is the point?
I know, and I don't even want to play clips from it because it was just everything you could think of, garbage cans, mustard, even, and he had another match like that with Mark Briscoe a few months ago on Dynamite that I did like a complete in-depth review on, which if you guys want to go back, anybody in the audience wants to go back.
What was the match he did with that was the what was it called? The horror show match?
Yeah, that one too with Jeff Hardy. So he's had some these
are insane. This is just embarrassing, and this is, oh my God, this guy. I mean, his father and his grandmother are definitely rolling over in their grave. I mean,
yeah, what happened to him? Like Jesus,
the hell is
he went complete mud show. He went full mud show.
He went full independent mud show insanity. Like this is awful. I mean, this is awful for him. This is
maybe it was always his dream to do mud show wrestling, and now that AEW is here and they gave him a contract, he's like, he can do it. But what about the Kingston promo? You want to say anything positive about this whole thing? Because
I can't really specific. I remember it being very good because you know what I've said before. Eddie Kingston is a tremendous promo. He is fantastic. He's very real. He's very emotional. He really, I mean, I don't always, some of the stuff sometimes that but the problem is he's always involved in really bad stuff. That's really, lately, I mean, for the longest time. It's hard to really, this one is hard to kind of really take seriously. But as a promo, like, if you're just like in a vacuum, if it's all just in a vacuum, he's great. He's always, that's like his strength. He's one of the great promos. He makes you want to root for him. And he's fantastic in that role, but his matches are not great because of the way he works and the shape that he's in. I'm sorry, yeah, it has to be said. And he's just involved in bad stuff, and unfortunately, so that's really that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he did tell Jay Lethal not to bring his crew to their fight. So he challenged them to a match where it's straight up between them, but let's see if that actually happens. Or it might just be another garbage match. But this one was a street fight, so that's why literally everyone was just poured in there and they didn't pay attention to any rules. There were no rules, so everyone was just in there.
It was like 20 on like one, right? Like,
yeah, it was like 6 on 1 or something. So
six guys versus one. So it was like a real, true, stupid match, man.
Robert, did you even see that one? You didn't watch Collision, did you?
I have no idea what he said, so I have no comment on that.
Well, he was basically hyping up a match with Jay Lethal coming up because he lost to Jeff Jarrett, and the stipulation was that if he lost, that Jay Lethal would get a Ring of Honor title shot.
Match.
So there you go. The next story I'll come up with, since we got a few minutes left, is Malakai Black returning on Collision. So he had like 3 spots where the lights went out. The first one was to Danielson. They beat up Danielson. This clip is from the second one where they showed up to beat up FTR. And then there's FTR laying right there. And then to end the show, I think they did the same thing to Blackpool Combat Club. So another Malakai Black return, lots of lights going out and coming back on, taking a long time. Lights go out, the commentators are like, oh, something's happening. Give it a minute. It's coming up real soon. Oh, it's Malakai Black. So, okay. I'm not too excited for Malakai Black, I will say. I think he's just been ruined. Vlad, you want to give any thoughts about Malakai Black? You want to say, repeat what I said, or if you think differently?
Yeah, no, I pretty much agree. There's not a lot of excitement there. It's been done before. He's already had a comeback. They've done all the stuff before. I don't know.
This was the main theme of the Collision episode because it happened 3 times. So this is supposed to be a big thing. They're gonna be doing big things here, right? I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling this.
No, the only thing I'm wondering is because I know before he wanted to go back to the WWE, so I'm wondering but then he ended up staying. So I'm wondering is he just running out the clock and waiting for his contract to expire and just doing whatever he has to do until that time comes? Because I know his wife is still in WWE, right? So we'll see. But I mean, obviously, none of the stuff that he's doing is really captivating. He was good when he first came in, right? He had that thing with.
Who is Malakai Black's wife?
What's her name?
She's the one in LWO.
The chick from in LWO.
Really? Zelina Vega? No way.
Yeah, that's right.
Would not have guessed, but okay. As long as they found love. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, Vlad. But yeah, you're right. He did come in good with Cody, but ever since that Cody feud, nothing's really happened. Yeah. He's just anything else? Did he do it? Is there anything else you can remember with him? He had a feud with I can't even think of any. Because I know they did a feud with Andrade with their stable.
Yeah, that was recently. I think.
He went away for a long time. He disappeared.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, like I said, they really haven't done anything with him. Nothing that you could even remember. So.
Trios. He was the Trios champion. They beat the Acclaim.
They were the Trios. That's right. They were the Trios champion, and then they put the Acclaimed over finally. And that's
okay. I don't know. I don't like that.
I don't know either.
That lights on, lights off thing, I think is not that cool. I think it's kind of lazy. Maybe for the audience it's kind of interesting because it's like, oh shit, the lights go off, and who is it going to be?
Well, it's like the question of who it's going to be. That's always the fun thing. Who is it?
Well, all right, Robert, did you have any thoughts about that? Because I know you didn't see Collision, but that's just
I didn't see Collision. But I don't know. I like Malakai Black, but I just don't like the way he's been booked in the AEW. So because of that, I'm not too excited about this. But I can't really blame him for that. It's more so how he's been booked.
I don't know. I don't know what they could do with him. I have no clue. But moving on, I got a couple more things I could mention before we leave. On the bad wrestling front, because I know we've been talking about the good angles and stuff, but I guess
the hell are you talking?
well, the main angles. The main angles.
Okay.
There's a lot
That's
worse.
different.
You want to talk about if you want, we could do. If you want, we could.
About the bad ones.
Well, yeah, we could do like Jericho Appreciation Society on Rampage if you want, or the former.
No.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I could. I could. I got a lot more angles if you want, Vlad. I got a lot more angles, but
my heart. I'm having a panic attack. No, I'm all right. Just don't mention that name. Don't mention that group.
One thing we do like doing here is making fun of bad wrestling, bad AEW sometimes. When we do our full episode reviews, like our full episode Dynamite or Collision reviews, we have like a chance to pick apart certain things. Like on a day like today, we didn't really have time to do that because we had other stories to talk about. But I guess I could point out Ruby Soho versus Hikaru Shida from Dynamite.
Oh my God. This was a disaster.
There's a nice crossbody right there. You like that one?
That wasn't even the worst thing, I think, but that was one of them.
Here's some very laying it in punches. Like, oh my God. So here's some more. I like this one. Very. Just look at them laying it in. Anyways, I don't want to pick.
Pretty good.
I don't want to pick it apart. I could have gone found 20 clips like this, but I just want to say that I think it was one of the worst matches I've ever seen, men or women. Like, it was so the crowd was so not into it. They laid it in soft. When they bounced off the rope, they were like touching the rope and coming off of it. Like, God, I see a lot of AEW women's matches. A lot of them they kind of try. This one seemed like they weren't even really trying that hard. And it was the second main event before the main event. The show started out really good with all the MJF stuff. Yeah, it fell off towards the end. This was one of the things towards the end of the show. So that's all. Well, I don't know
I know we don't really talk about ratings a lot, but this was one of the lowest rated AEWs since 2020 as far as TV ratings. Yeah, so it makes sense. It was
interesting.
Well, it makes some sort of sense, but sometimes it doesn't make sense because, I don't think they've been really good for a while, but then last week's show was kind of a decent rating show for them. So, but anyways, as far as this, I mean, this was a debacle. This was a disaster. This was something that you need to flush down the toilet and never see ever again. It was
from the world champion too, but okay.
Well, I think that's another problem is that when you look at the champions in the women's division WWE, they have Rhea, Becky, even Io Sky or Charlotte when she was champion, or whoever. I mean, these are really good wrestlers, right? They wouldn't have this type of match on TV, even if it was just a TV throwaway match. They wouldn't have such a disaster happen to them, So I think that just really shows the difference between the women's division WWE, which I think even Jim Cornette said the women's division. The women are better in WWE than the men, so it's not really surprising that there's such a strong women's division, that the women's division is so strong because they really are really good, especially the top women, Becky, Bianca, Rhea. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them, right? So yeah, this was a disaster zone for AEW. I mean, the women's division has always been a mess, but then they have a TV match like this and they just, it just sounds like something people will make fun of continuously for them. And it's I feel bad for the women, because I'm sure they don't want to have a bad, terrible match that people will make fun of. But at the same time, this is what you could do, this is what you're doing on TV. You probably need more training, honestly. You need to work on your craft a lot more. That's just my opinion. I mean, if you want to avoid the laughter and you want people to stop making fun of you, then maybe work a little harder on your matches and stuff like that, and work with your opponent to make sure that you could have a solid, at least serviceable match. You don't have to be, I don't know who, but you don't have to be Rhea and Charlotte at WrestleMania, but you could still have put on an acceptable match and not have a disaster of epic proportions, on TV. So that's all I got.
Yeah, I mean these girls are hit or miss though. I've seen some decent Ruby Soho matches. I've seen some decent Shida matches, but this one was.
You know what? The other thing is, it's not surprising that for Ruby, everybody was like kind of excited when she first came in, and it was like, oh, well, how could WWE not keep her? And now it's really obvious why they. I mean, honestly, she's not very good. I don't know this match you've seen where Ruby's been good, but I've never seen it. I walked away thinking, wow, yeah, what the heck was the WWE thinking? Like, wow, Ruby Soho is really good. Never happened, not one time. And she's always involved in really dumb stuff to make it even worse. So, I mean, she's okay, but like, they literally have 1,000 Ruby Sohos on NXT ready to go. So, they're not really missing much there.
All right. Well, last thing I guess I could mention is the budding feud between Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce from Raw and SmackDown. So this came from SmackDown. So we talked about how Jey Uso showed up and he's not contracted to SmackDown. So Nick Aldis threw him out of the building, but he also threw out Adam Pearce for no good reason. But I guess it's like, hey, control your guy, I guess. But it was a little strange, throwing his weight around. The commentator, I forgot who it was. Was it Corey Graves on SmackDown? But when they cut away from this,
Corey Graves and the British guy, yeah.
Yeah, so when they cut away, Corey Graves was like, I like that. Nick Aldis throwing his weight around. I'm like, throwing his weight around for what? What did Adam Pearce do? But anyways, they smoothed it over on Raw. I don't have a clip of it, but Aldis showed up and was like, they kind of just swept it under the rug and said, all right, we'll let bygones be bygones. But it does look like they're setting up some kind of feud, especially maybe for Survivor Series or something. So
yeah, they do this every time. Every year they set something up like this.
Yeah, I guess. What do you think of it, though? I mean, we've seen many general managers come and go, have feuds with each other. Guys got any thoughts on Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce so far? I mean, I think it looks all right.
You want to go first, Robert, on this, or I'll let Robert go first if he wants?
Well, okay. Adam Pearce has been around as a general manager for quite a long time. He's had a presence as that, general manager figure, whereas Nick Aldis just started. So I don't know. I don't know if this feud is happening a little too soon for me. I personally don't really care that much. Just being honest.
I mean, they seem like respectable professionals, I guess. I think it's not like the days of Paul Heyman versus Eric Bischoff or whatever, or Stephanie and Bischoff or whatever. Those were even Teddy Long was kind of cool, I think.
Listen up, player.
Yeah, so the days of Teddy Long.
I'm gonna put you in a match with the Undertaker.
I mean, when it comes to
right, that's what he was doing.
Authority figures, like they're not really exciting, charismatic authority figures, but
no.
I mean, they even had that.
No, what about John Laurinaitis?
Oh God, he was the worst one. He was the worst one. I even like the anonymous general manager better than John Laurinaitis.
Yeah, with
John Laurinaitis.
I can't even I can't do an impression. But everybody does a great Laurinaitis impression, like the wrestlers. But I can't do my voice like that. But yeah, that was bad.
This is a businessman feud. Pearce and Aldis, it's like suits where they wear suits. They're very proper,
respectable.
They're not really characters. They're just respectable, proper people.
They're just gonna be like wanting the best for their brand, right? The ones that they manage. It's gonna be like it's just gonna be like plate competition.
I mean, Adam Pearce. Maybe lack of charisma, right? We got a lack of charisma problem with there. He's just a very normal-ish guy. Aldis, I think, could have charisma if they gave him the opportunity.
They gave him something to work with, yeah, absolutely.
So, all right. Well, I don't know. I'll see what happens. I'll wait and see what happens. I think it has potential, but it could be nothing. Well, we're about to hit our 90-minute mark. I guess we're pretty much out of time. The last thing I could have mentioned was this Rouge promo that I really liked from Collision. But I was a little upset that he wasn't actually there at the arena in public.
He hasn't been there in months. What are you talking about?
Well, there's teasing it that it's coming. I thought this might be the week that we might get Rouge. but I really like his promos, man. I mean, look, he has like incredible facials, like incredible, like just emotion, and uses.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
He uses like every muscle in his face when he talks. You know.
Yeah, he is emotional. I will give you that.
There's something impressive about him to me, but I don't know. Like Vlad said, this is dead on arrival. This storyline just because it's so stupid. But
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see him.
I agree. Well, yes. I mean, I did say that, and I stand by that. It's dead on arrival. It's like, dude, they had people being murdered and kidnapped, and by I don't even know who, the cartel or what was going on, but people were murdered.
They were kidnapped. They were just hanging out in Mexico drinking.
Yeah, right.
Preston Vance and Dralistico, and they got kidnapped. They got thrown into a white van, and then
tied up. They were being tortured.
They were being tortured, and then they ended up fighting their way out and murdering those people.
They murdered 2 guys.
Wow.
And now they're talking. And then the guy, and then the assistant guy came in all clapping. Yeah, you did it. You killed people. So that was the funniest. Yeah, he was proud of them. He said he was proud of them.
These are some real badass guys, man. Shit.
Yeah, really badass guys. So,
but again, unrealistic to you, huh? Unrealistic. Because they should go to jail for this. But it's Mexico.
Well,
it happened in Mexico.
Yeah, but that's true.
No, I mean, it's being filmed, so...
So? Well,
it's not illegal if it happens in Mexico.
Okay.
You know what? Chaos kind of convinced me now. It did happen in Mexico. So, in that case, it's all good.
Oh, my gosh. All right.
So now they can come in, but if they come in, do they have to come in and like take somebody hostage, or do they just have to come in regular? See, that's the only thing. What do you do with them when they come in? Do they have to like kidnap somebody right away off the bat, like maybe like somebody important?
Well, as Jim Cornette would say, I just think they should just give them some good wins on TV, make them look good, you know, give them a push.
You mean give them some good TV wins after they've already murdered people?
Well, yeah. They've got street cred now, so.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough. Then we're all good. But okay, this is dead on arrival. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm back. I was joking with Keon at a point. This is obviously never going to work, and it's not going anywhere, and it's just silly, dumb stuff that is not going to lead to anything. But yes, maybe you're right. The Rouge is a talent, but I mean,
La Facción Ingobernable is not the angle for you, I guess. But okay. All right, Vlad. I get it. So this is it. We just hit our 90-minute mark. We went over the 90 minutes, so this is bonus time.
Sweet.
Those were all the angles. I actually went through everything that I listed, so I didn't think we'd finish it. But I didn't have anything else. Did you guys see anything from this week that I missed, or you think that you would have mentioned?
I just think it's. I'm a little surprised that we went this long and never mentioned Toni Storm's name even once.
Oh yeah, well, there wasn't really anything there. There was a silent movie, right? I think she showed up on stage.
Silent movies.
She showed up on stage to pose too, also, didn't she? That happened?
I don't remember. I didn't see that. So if it happened as far as it's the picture-in-picture, I forward to it. Even for Toni Storm, who I love.
Yeah, you're right, though,
I won't
Robert.
watch the picture-in-picture.
That's true. Good point. That is the first week in a while that we didn't have the Toni Storm segment on my show, but it seems to have cooled off for me and Vlad.
Yeah. So I brought it up for a reason, because now I'm starting to lose a little interest in Toni Storm, just because I feel like I'm not sure what AEW is thinking, because when she was rising up in popularity, it was back when she was doing those interviews with Renee Paquette, and she had like this self-deprecating personality, right?
Yeah.
And I thought it was really hilarious, and that's what made her like her popularity skyrocketed because of that. But then now they completely changed her into a wannabe movie star from like back in the day or something like that.
I guess I see the progression, but
it's not working out for me now. It's like, okay, they should go back to it. They should go back to what was working for her.
I still don't mind it.
Robert hit the nail on the head. Robert just got it completely right.
Yeah,
100%.
I guess so. It would have been cooler if she kind of stayed in that state, but I don't mind the movie star gimmick or whatever. I think when she does matches in the gimmick, she's had like a couple. They've been good. but I don't think I dig the silent movie thing. Like the silent movie thing is like the Adam Cole, Roderick Strong segments, like the pre-recorded stuff. Like that's kind of like that to me. Like I don't need that. That can be like, but the in-ring stuff is fine for me. But yeah, okay. So we didn't mention Tony Storm. Good point, Robert. Remember that one. Anything else that anybody has before we leave? Last chance, because that's all I got. I think I got most
Last
things
call,
that were worth talking about.
Well, oh, never mind. This is not really worth talking about. Well,
Which
I'll
one?
just say it anyway, since I was about to say it.
Daniel Garcia.
huh?
Oh no, not that. Chris Jericho in an interview mentioned,
Oh, yeah.
was talking about how he's getting beat up by
That it was a
what's
merciless
his name?
beating. Powerhouse Hobbs.
by Powerhouse Hobbs, and that he knows somebody bigger. I feel like it's obvious. I feel like it's obviously Paul White. It has to be him. Because he said I need to call someone bigger, right? So
Jericho.
right, exactly.
Yeah, they were tag team.
So-
they were tag teams for.
So I would be really surprised if it wasn't Paul White. That's what I'm gonna say.
All right.
So we'll see.
Okay, yeah, that also didn't make the cut on my show because I just didn't care about it. But okay, cool, good point. All right then, guys, good show. Let's call it a show. Good night, guys. Have a good night. Get some rest. Until next week.
Yep.
Collision tomorrow. Kenny Omega, MJF. My house.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's do it. If you want
All
to.
right.
I mean,
Sounds-
shit.
All right. Well, let's talk about it. Okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Robert, have a good one, man.
All right, you too. Good
Thank
night.
you guys for coming on.
Good. Yeah. Good night.
All right, good night, guys.